Hello, Aries. Welcome to your September and October forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's good to see you. As always, you can use this for your sun, rising, and moon sign. And before we get started, let's check in on Apollo, who's just burying his head there in the blankets. I think we've all been there from time to time. We'll check in on him later. We've got a lot to talk about. As you know, before every reading, I like to meditate and see what comes through just as an intuitive download. I kept seeing the symbol of a bee, and then I really focused on the organizational structure of the beehive. And that organization reminds me of what you would get with like the Hierophant card, making sure that everything is sort of like set and organized and ready so that you can kind of coast through this 60-day period. So the more you do and the sooner you do it, the easier it's going to get. Organization, not only in sort of like what your house looks like or what your business plan looks like, but also kind of in what you're trying to do, strategy and organization. This will help inform others, including the universe, to kind of like align synchronicities for you. And if you think of a beehive, there's like the queen bee, there's worker bees, there's drones. Each and every bee has its swim lane and it sticks to it, and it's like a finely oiled machine. Everything works, right? So figuring out a way where you don't have to do everything all the time. Delegation, organization, and clarity of leadership is going to be really important. You're the queen bee if you want to be this month. To be the queen bee, though, you have to have the vision, and others are going to be looking to you for that sense of clarity and confidence. And good leaders have a combination of both. It's not like false confidence. They know it because they've done the research, they've done the work, and they can set it all into motion. Okay? Bees are also pollinators. So I feel like there's organization and there's a lot to do from a high level. You have to kind of like fly around and look at things from a bee's eye view, not just a bird's eye view. And the movement may sometimes be a little bit much. So I feel like there's going to be like Eight of Wands energy, Empress and Hierophant energy. So a lot of higher level management and higher level envisioning work. And it doesn't matter if you're working or not. This is kind of a chapter in your life that you can do a lot, but you shouldn't be sort of like constantly in the weeds trying to do everything for everyone. And this has been a common theme for all of the readings for this 2-month period. You're the most sort of leader forward sign that I've done so far, where it feels like it's your chance to shine and you've done all of the work, or there's an opportunity that is going to challenge you and you're going to rise to that challenge. So I'm encouraging you to sort of keep that picture in your head of being the queen bee and know that you've got this under control. The other thing here is bees create honey, and honey is sweet. It feels like there's this nice sort of like silver lining or light at the end of the tunnel, especially if you've been through challenges or a bitter moment in your life. I see something sweet that follows. So I'm going to look at the cards here. We're going to go through 60 days. It's been really fun doing these 2-month readings, and it's going to give us a chance to strategize and see how the energy works over that period of time. If you wonder why I've done this, it's because I'm going to be moving in a couple of months, so I want to make sure that we have all of our readings out for every sign, and then later this year we might switch back, but so far I've really been enjoying it. Thank you for your patience, and with that being said, let's get started. All right, please take a moment, close your eyes, and imagine that you're painting a circle of light around your body. Within this circle, you are safe. You can imagine the sun directly overhead. And within this safe space, let's call in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. I love when we have a synchronicity right at the beginning. We have Manaz as a rune coming through representing unity, humanity, and harmony. This is in the catalyst position, and this is really nicely aligned with what I was talking about a couple of moments ago. Teamwork makes the dream work. All that queen bee energy coming through. There's also just a reminder that not only do you not have to do it alone, but you're going to be better this month when you surround yourself with great friends, coworkers, and anybody in your life that can help you take it to the next level. Power in numbers. This is also a very magnetic energy. So magnet cards in tarot would be like Two of Cups, Ten of Cups, Lovers, Sun. Bright energy, people forward energy. And again, even if you're a little bit of a hermit, there is a gentle nudge from the universe to allow yourself to mix and mingle, because you have a great chance of meeting someone that could open up a door for you. The harmony piece is something that we can all lean into. And it's saying one of the other great ways to get something done this month is through the fine arts of diplomacy, maybe even a little bit of compromise, but using your communication skills, your empathy, and your kindness to bring people into what it is that you're trying to accomplish. What a great way to kick off this reading. All right, let's take a moment to acquaint ourselves with the spread, and then we'll get into everything here. So on the left, we have September. On the right, we have October. This allows us to see everything at once, which is great. Karmic energy here, destiny over here, two big takeaways. And in the middle, we have a bridging card at the top. Then we have a potential block, and we already covered the first card. So let's get into karma. Karma is actually pretty darn good. And again, it connects with this catalyst. So the Lovers. Some of you have been working hard to strengthen existing relationships. You might have also done the work on yourself to attract higher frequency people, places, and opportunities, because like energy attracts like energy. And when I see this in the karmic past, it's saying you've aligned yourself, you've done the work internally. So this is actually very heartening. Even if you're not seeing the person, place, or opportunity at your doorstep right now, it's saying don't lose faith. Keep up this great work that you've been doing, and lean a little bit more into partnership energy this month. I mentioned earlier that organization and leadership were two big pieces. And because you've gotten everything aligned, or maybe you're about to do that, that has to kind of happen first. Then the people can show up, and then they trust and connect and align with your vision and your leadership. So maybe some of you needed to hear that you're still on the right track, even if it hasn't manifested yet. And it could be an opportunity or a relationship. Also in the karmic past, loving yourself unconditionally. That's what this is, love with a capital L. It's not just about what you're getting back from someone else. It's saying, I love, I accept, I celebrate myself for exactly who I am, where I'm at right now. Yes, maybe there's work to do, but I love that I'm working on myself. Try to think of yourself in those terms of encouragement, kindness, empathy, and support. Surround yourself with people that are on that same path. And yes, if you're looking for love, this is very auspicious. If you want to heal an existing relationship, also auspicious. If you can see it, others can, but if you can't, that's where the challenge exists. I love that we have a Merkaba right there between their two third eyes. So seeing it out in the world around you helps reinforce the sort of like synchronicities and channels that want to open up to you. But you really have to love and accept yourself and believe that you're worth it. So karmically, I can tell you you're worth it. Hopefully I can help you see and believe that as well. All right, let's go into the past energy as we're looking at the first of the 2 months. So again, we're now looking at September, and we're going to begin with the energy of past. So in the past, we have the Eight of Cups. Making and breaking cycles is the first thing that I'm getting. So for some of you, if we're looking at a relationship or a contract, it feels like you're ready to get serious. And you're almost at the point where if the other person doesn't feel and sort of see the same thing that you do, you're like, I think I need a break. I need to see what else is out there, because there is this clarity and this understanding that now is the time to make it happen. Some of you are overdue. We're looking at the energy of the past. So some of you are overdue for a vacation. Eight of Cups can represent, a fogginess of the mind that needs to be cleared up by getting some distance from a situation. The fogginess actually occurs in the Seven of Cups. The Eight of Cups is the solution. Usually we see someone walking out into the mountains, getting that sort of view that you can only see from the top of the mountain. So give yourself some space, especially if you have a major decision to make. In fact, let's take that a step further. I would say before making a major decision, try to buy yourself a little bit of time, whether it's 5 minutes, 5 days, or a month. Give yourself that perspective so that you can see what else is out there, look within and see, does this resonate and feel right for me? And then come back with that informed, clear, confident, and neutral understanding of what the next step should be. This also represents second chances. So if there's something that you have been meaning or wanting to do for a while, love and respect yourself enough to go after that. If you want to start something new, you can start something new. The only thing that's kind of frustrating with the Eight of Cups is it can be a little sporadic, hot and cold, on and off. So for some of you that may be in a job situation, it may be difficult, or you're looking for a new job, let's put it out there in that way. It might be difficult to get someone to give you permanent work. It could be like contractual, or it's ebbing and flowing, but it's not predictable. We'll visit that more when we go into the expanded forecast, but I actually quite like the Eight of Cups. It's a very powerful card, and it really kind of just depends on what your focus is. But the big takeaway here is give yourself the time and the distance that you need to figure out what's the next step for you, or what it is that you want. We just looked at the past. Now let's see what the presenting energy is in September. So I love what I see here. The Page of Cups. Look at the opening energy from the heart chakra here, and we see that beautiful connection to the lovers and also to the rune that I pulled for the catalyst here, unity, humanity, harmony. This is such a great period, particularly September, for you to open up to new things, express your creative voice and vision, connect with others, love and accept yourself, and have some fun, because the Page of Cups is also playful. I'm also getting a message which is the following: you get what you give. And we're in a point in time right now where there's a lot of sort of like difficulty and tumultuous energy going on, and we really do need a dose of love or positivity. And your ability to infuse that in certain aspects of your life and others can actually, again, foster more of it, not just coming back at you, but in the world in general. So anywhere that you can create a little spark of love and joy, please do it. You'll feel better. People around you will feel better. And the cumulative effect is very positive. I would not be surprised if there is indeed an opportunity knocking. Page of Cups can be good news that's incoming, that almost just kind of takes you by surprise. It shouldn't. You've done the work. And again, we can see the two hands coming together, creating that energy of the heart. So I do think something really, really wonderful is about to come in. Now, it's interesting that we see someone up in the clouds, their head in the clouds, and we see this little pig flying. So there is an interesting sort of symbolism here, which is sometimes we can put ourselves in a box that is too practical. Parents, teachers, society, they tell us, keep your head on straight. Don't dream too big. Don't think too much about this. I think a little bit of detachment is good, but I think negatively thinking that something is impossible or it can't happen, it closes a door before it's allowed to open. I'm encouraging you to love yourself, be creative, and give your vision and your idea a chance. Maybe before you tell everyone, just create some traction. Once the momentum has started, whether or not people agree or whether or not they're critical about it, it doesn't matter as long as your heart is in the right place. And sometimes dreams do come true and things can surpass our expectations. If you find yourself in the middle of a relationship this month, these are powerful cards. You might end up feeling like you're swept off your feet, because that's kind of what we're seeing here. Also, we don't get the full picture. It's kind of fragmented here. So I do think it's important to get some space, figure out what you want. Again, love and work on yourself here. And then things start to get into a really exciting space, because as we look at the future energy for September, we have the Ace of Pentacles. In the realm of relationships, this is someone saying, let's take it to the next level, or let's get married, or I want to be exclusive. It's good. In a job, it can be an offer on the table. For yourself, it's a feeling of being grounded. So if you feel like you're split into like multiple places and trying to be everything to everyone, this is saying, you know what? I need to be this for me right here, right now. So this new realization, self-realization of what it is that you want, it feels like it comes naturally towards the end of September, as well as something taking shape, form, or root in your life. Don't rush it. It looks like it comes to a natural place of sort of like stability, if you will, towards the end of the month. This is also a great time to say what it is that you want to someone else. I'm ready for this. I want this. I'm interested. Let's make it happen. We don't always have to just be there waiting to receive. Aces can work in like 3 ways. You can be receiving, you can be giving, you can also be reaching for something, requesting something. So whichever of those three expressions of the ace, you want to do, absolutely, this is your time to do it. And there's no reason you can't do all three. I really love the overarching energy for September. For all the signs that I've read, this is one of the brightest Septembers. It's usually, because I've been doing 2 months, I've normally seen things weighted heavier in October. I think you're actually already getting off to a great start. Let's look at the takeaway here, and then we'll move into the bridge after that. So the takeaway for the month is the King of Swords. He's at the top of the mountain. You can see that there. He's actually the king of the mountain. And he has all of the winged creatures around him, the owl, the bat, the raven, the dragonfly, etc., etc. What I like to sort of take away from this particular image is that one size doesn't fit all, particularly when it comes to communication. So if you are trying to reach a larger group of people, maybe in business, but even if there's like an announcement in your own life, I think it's better to not do like a group announcement, a group text or email. Reach out individually as much as your time and energy allows, and individually tweak and personalize the message. In business, it's called segmentation, just making sure that the people that receive it know that you cared enough to formulate it in a way that shows that you know them. Your voice matters, but just as much as that, people are watching to see if you are accountable and you follow through. Walking the walk and talking the talk. It's a combination of both, so make sure that you're doing that. And the King of Swords being the top of the suit is basically not mincing words. If there's something that you like, you speak up. If there's something that you don't, you ask a question. If it's not worth your time, you release someone. All of these cards are positive. There's nothing here that I look at and think, The only one that's a little interesting is Eight of Cups, and that really depends on if you have denied yourself a chance to take a break or if you're feeling rushed. But overall, the Eight of Cups is a good card too. So you have a very favorable September energy coming through. And this King of Swords is saying, now is the time to take action. Let's move on to the connection for this month. We have the Strength card here, reversed. Interestingly enough, we have Empress right beneath it. These are two divine feminine cards. One thing that I'm seeing right off the bat is that some of you may be in a little bit of a power struggle, but you're going to be able to sort yourself out of it. Let's first talk about the connection, and then I'll talk about the block. So in the upright position, as we see here, this is combining the best of both worlds. Divine masculine, divine feminine, being able to find a compromise. You'll notice that there is a lamb on this card representing the ability to have people peacefully follow whatever your vision, voice, or decision is. When the card is reversed, however, there's a couple of things to consider. First of all, if we look at the traditional version of this card, it's a little bit more intense. She's taming a lion. She's got her hands in the mouth of the lion. And what happens here sometimes is it can represent forcing something that isn't quite ready. And sometimes people try to force us to make a decision or sign on the dotted line. Vice versa. You might be trying to put words in someone's mouth or just get them to agree before they're ready. Try not to do that. Try to go into the energy of compromise and seeing the sort of middle ground. This can also just be diminishing returns. It would be exhausting to have to constantly work at taming the lion, making sure that it's not, doing something that it shouldn't. So in everyday life, this is someone who just can't make a decision and you're constantly trying to pull it out of them, or they're not doing the work that they agreed to and you have to keep helicoptering in. This is like a mama bear that keeps saying, well, how about this? And don't forget this. And there's a time and place for it, but there's also a time and place for someone to just, if they can't do it, it's almost like they have to make a mistake and learn from that. So you can't be everyone's queen bee. You can't be everyone's mama or papa bear. And this is reminding you to use some of that energy on your own sort of like projects and desires and things that you care about. Otherwise, you might tap yourself out energetically, okay? Also, just sustainability. You can usually get what you want this time, but down the line it gets harder and harder, and eventually it's not worth the effort that's being put forth, okay? Now, the block is interesting because we have Empress, and again, we'll just pull both of these cards up as we talk about it. So specifically, you have the Empress and she's reversed, but right before it we have another Divine Feminine card. I think some of you might just be in either a job or relationship or an environment where there's two headstrong individuals. And in everyday life, not everyday life, in the universe, I should say, there's more binary and tertiary systems where there's like 2 or 3, or I should say triple star systems out there than there are kind of like single star systems like our own. So there can be 2 bright people in the room, 2 strong energetic forces. One doesn't have to overshadow the other. And so maybe reminding someone that too in a subtler way, like, I think we both can get what we're looking for here. Empress in reverse. Someone may be holding on to something longer than they should. So you can see that there's something about to be birthed here. This is almost like a composition that comprises both world and Empress energy. So I feel like it's already done. It's already ready, but somebody's holding on to the key. They're not ready to let you do what you need to do. They're not ready to let go of something. You may also be the one, because we can take all of this out and this can just represent you. So this is holding on to something long after it should have been released or birthed. So I'd mentioned, like with the takeaway for the previous month, it's time to take action. It's time. For those of you wondering when, as soon as you're ready, hopefully sooner than later. Take care of yourself. So the Strength card in reverse can be fatigue. Like, I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of something. And this one is saying, if no one else is going to take care of me, I'm going to take care of me. You have 2 of the biggest divine feminine cards in the major arcana, definitely serving up Queen Bee energy. So please love yourself. Know that it is a sign of strength and leadership. And if you happen to be a maternal or paternal figure in your own life, like people depend on you, you have to take care of yourself so that you don't let them down. And sometimes as caretakers, we all forget that. If you're sick, who's going to take care of your kids? You've got to make sure that you stay well. And if you're taking care of someone that's older that depends on you, you owe it to yourself to get enough sleep, to get enough rest, to get enough exercise, whatever it is that's lacking in your life. All right, enough said on that. Let's move into your second month here, October, and see what's coming through in the past energy. So this is nicely connected to what we were just talking about. We have the Moon card, and the Moon card is in reverse, and sometimes, as we see here, the emotions can feel a little intense, a little heavy. And so as October is kicking off, some of you are feeling just a little bit more pressure to meet up to other people's expectations. There may be fears or anxieties in your life where you're like, I don't know, I'm uncertain. In these situations, it's important to lean into what we looked at in the karmic energy, love and support. To find someone, even if they don't exist right now, to find a resource or a person that you trust enough to talk to. The Moon card is about honesty, and when the card is reversed, you might be seeing through a cycle of dishonesty or someone that is just not able to come through in their authentic self. It's never fun, it's never easy, but it's always important to pay attention to that. So if someone comes through and says, I can't do this, or you catch them in a lie or a half-truth, address the situation and then also think to yourself, I don't want to repeat this. So if you feel like that's something that's cyclically happening, then it's better to nip that in the bud sooner than later. Ultimately, this is saying, I'm not going to be afraid to look at something. The one way to get through fear is through education, experience, and support. Okay, there's another thing. The wolf and the dog at the top of this can represent the sort of nexus and the meeting of 2 different competing things. What you've been trained to do, what you've been conditioned to do, and what your gut instincts. I'm even getting like your bones. What you feel it in your bones. I've got to go down this path. And between those 2 animals is the moon, the power, the path. So release the fear, release any sort of competition or self-doubt, and focus on that path, okay? There's a health energy around this too, which can be like some dehydration. There can even be a little bit of heightened emotional energy coming forth. You want to deal with that sooner than later as well. And also, if it's been a minute since you've gone to a doctor and talked about things like your reproductive health, or if there's anything going on in your urinary tract, this is a time to make sure that everything is taken care of there, because it can be like the bladder, the kidneys, and also reproductive organs. So with it in reverse, that might be where the stress is at, and those organs are more vulnerable during this period of time. So I'm kind of highlighting that in advance of health, but I wanted to say it before I forgot it. Okay, now let's take a look at the present energy. You're starting to see things from a new perspective, which I quite like. So in October, around the middle of the month, many of you are starting to say, why not? And you might be realizing that your fears are not equaling up to what is showing up in your life. And this could be surprising because we have so many cards that are powerful, that are manifestation oriented, especially what I saw in September with like that Ace of Pentacles. So you might be met with an opportunity, and the block here in October is, I don't know if I can do it. Lack of vision. So we want to get past that. There are two different versions of her here. This is the reality. She's fine. This is the fear, or this is the projection. I don't know. I can't do it. So we're going to release that and say, why can't I? How can I? When will I? You're going to get more in the inquisitive and the planning portion than the sort of like swimming and sort of going down the rabbit hole. Okay. With both Two of Swords and Eight of Swords, it's not always obvious. It's not going to necessarily be in black and white. They're actually encouraging you to use your third eye. It won't be obvious. The solution is out of the box. And your challenge/opportunity in October is, how can I paint a picture that others can see? Some people in your life may be very much black and white. It's either this or that. I either see it or it doesn't happen. And there's a lot going on beneath the surface in your life, in the world, in whatever it is that you might be trying to help them see. So getting people to understand that there's more than meets the eye. That's actually the big takeaway already. I mean, we're not even there, but there's more than meets the eye when we're looking at October. Let's look at the future position for October. It's quite good. We actually see like a graduation or a leveling up from what we saw in the previous month. So there could be, first of all, that little starfish or sea star represents healing. Starfish can grow back an appendage that has been separated or injured. This also represents getting your head above water. This King of Cups, he's almost floating on top of the water. So if there was something that was challenging, this person feels like they're in the weeds, they're in the middle of it. He's had the ability to rise up and say, I've got this. And I think the biggest gift that you can give to yourself is one of emotional healing and mental health as we're looking at October, but also having some fun, focusing more on people and experiences, and some sense of gratification is the word that Spirit's giving me. So often in our life, we put out this distant milestone and arbitrary one day, when this happens, then I can do that, then I can relax, then I can have fun. I'm challenging you as I look at this card to have some fun now. Today, tomorrow, this week, and next month. We're looking at 60 days. Intersperse some fun throughout the process. We are never guaranteed any number of days on this planet. So with that in mind, there needs to be joy and fun all along the way. And if it's been a minute since you've done something that makes your heart skip a beat, now's the time. If you're looking for love, there's so much water that's coming through. You absolutely could have a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. He even has a little Piscean necklace there. But at the very least, it feels like you're starting to give yourself permission, maybe just to take life a little less seriously. That doesn't mean that you're not serious about, being the best version of yourself, but we're all imperfect on some levels. We're here to learn. And when we allow ourselves to make mistakes and learn from them, that's all that's important. I've mentioned, like I said, I'm going to be moving in a couple months. I'm learning a new language, and I work with a tutor. It's actually a language that I studied a long time ago, but I'm getting to a more fluent level on it. But I give myself permission to be very imperfect when speaking a new language. I laugh when I make a mistake. I ask, how do I do that correctly? And the joyful, playful energy makes it fun to learn. I don't expect myself to be perfect. I hope to get very, very good at it, but if I'm angry at myself for making a mistake, you wouldn't get angry at a kid when they made a mistake. So at any stage of life, we should see ourselves as that eternal child. And for many of you, you are in that rebirthing energy, which is what the Empress was trying to remind you. You're never too young, you're never too old, but you might be holding back. Laugh a little bit. It's really liberating. And then learn from it. Laugh, learn, and rise up. Okay? Beautiful energy for the future. This could be fulfillment, dream fulfillment, or just this sense of, I did it. I'm happier now. Okay? Let's look at your takeaway for this month. I love what we see here in this illustration. You have the Wheel of Fortune. If we look closely at her necklace, she has a pair of dice and she's standing on a casino chip. So what this is kind of playing with is, are you ready to take a chance? Are you ready to take a leap? Interestingly enough, and we'll talk about this in a second, but your destiny card is the Fool. They're both closely related. The Wheel of Fortune is almost like you're getting ready to spin that wheel and say, let's go for this. I've done the work. I'm ready to take a chance on myself. It's a calculated chance, but it's a good one too. Believe in yourself. Now, the traditional card also would just show a regular wheel, so we can also think of something cyclical, going through things. You should be at a point in your life where you're not going through the motions, but you're setting into motion something that really connects nicely with the King of Cups. And by going through the motions, I mean just doing it because. So she feels this sense of joy and jubilation. We don't always get to feel that in every aspect of our life, oftentimes not at work. But if there is something in your life where you feel like I'm really turning over a new corner, a new leaf, that's where you should be focusing. I do also feel like your money situation is veering in the right direction. We have an Ace of Pentacles, and then we have that wheel, which portends good things. All right, let's go to your destiny card. Again, very nicely mirroring what we see with the world here. I'm sorry, with the wheel here. So in destiny, we have the Fool. Change happens one step, one breath, one thought at a time. You don't have to do it all at once. There's freedom in this. You have to be patient with yourself, but just keep taking a step every day. Carve out a little bit of space, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour. And in that period of time, even if you're super busy, you can make progress. As you enter into something new, make sure you're unencumbered. So typically there's a small knapsack that the Fool carries. They don't carry anything more than they need, and it's all about focusing on the quality over the quantity. Less is sometimes far more, especially if you're bringing something really powerful to the fold. And she is here with that beautiful crystal. The clarity of vision, also part of that crystal. So are you ready to take the step? I hope so, Aries, because I'm seeing so much beautiful energy coming forth. And again, this is one of the brightest readings that I've seen so far. So why don't we expand this and get a little bit more clarity into health, wealth, and love and see what's coming forth. Let me just make a little bit of room for these three cards, and then we shall begin. All right, health, wealth, and love. All right, let's begin with your health card. Again, health comprises mind, body, and spirit. A very interesting card is coming forth for health. So sometimes the Five of Wands can represent a little bit of boredom and work. It's like, I kind of hear like a 2-year-old, I don't want to do this. And it's okay. Sometimes when we're doing what's right, it isn't always what's fun. But if there's any way to bring a little bit of joy into it and not take yourself so seriously and not make it feel like it's so much work, that could be great too. Changing things up. If you don't, like for instance, like one type of exercise, do something that doesn't feel like it's so tedious or so boring. Maybe you would benefit from a group sort of activity, whether you're working one-on-one or it's a larger group where everybody's in the same sort of situation and you can laugh it off a little bit and support each other. It's not laughing at each other. It's saying, okay, we've got this. And it's a little awkward in the beginning, but like, let's have some fun. Whenever I've been in bigger group sort of like exercise classes, I've always felt that sense of camaraderie. If you don't, you're in the wrong class. Try to avoid arguing. This can be a card of conflict. If you find that your healthcare professional, your partner, whoever it is in your life that's supposed to be supporting you isn't, or you're arguing with them, talk to someone else, talk to an expert. It's the wrong channel because you should feel like the person's advocating for you, okay? But we're just finding a way to make this feel less like work, more like I'm doing it for myself. I owe it to myself to make this happen, okay? Let's go ahead and just gently look at all the cards and see how it's coming together. I just mentioned, because we see it like in 4 different cards here. So partnership, and then 2 people that have this kind energy. So I think this is a great month to work with others for the general benefit of your health. What else is coming into play? So over this period of time, like I said, a vacation could do you a lot of good. It could give you the clarity and the sort of distance before making a major decision. So 8 of Cups is that. Like, can also be hiking or just getting out into nature, because we have 2 cards of different levels of activity. This is just gentle walking, and this could be like hiking. So you don't always have to go to a gym. I know I don't necessarily like being at a gym. I prefer being outside. So we have like swimming, hiking, walking, nature-based or outdoor-based activities. Of course, this is going to depend on the climate where you live, but if you do have a chance to get outside, I like what I see here with that. It could ground you and it could make it a little bit more fun, less like I'm in a stuffy gym, etc. Really focusing on what you put into your body. That is arguably one of the most effective ways to see some positive traction, because if you're doing everything else right, meditating, exercising, sleeping, but you're putting things in your body that aren't ideal, then you're going to not be getting the maximum benefits. And if you're super busy, the one place that you'll immediately see a return is kind of like how you're fueling your body. So work with a professional, see what works best for your body, make those dietary changes, putting the best possible, even if it is just saying, I'm going to go organic or I'm going to reduce the amount of sugar. This is more like protein or even earth vegetables that kind of comes through when I see Ace of Pentacles. That can be a focal point. Again, you got to work with your doctor because everybody's body is different. The challenges this month, emotions. And it's more in October than September, but it could be either month. I'm just seeing a little bit more of a high point here. It may be time for some of you to get a new pair of glasses with the Eight of Swords, or even a hearing test. So if you're feeling like that part of your body isn't where it needs to be, obviously get it checked out. Otherwise, the only other thing that I'm seeing here is there may be more pressure based on relationships. Like there's a little bit more focus. So you have to, it's like give and take. So the stress could be coming from parents, bosses, lovers, children, or anyone in your life. Like I just see relationships bubbling up, and we'll get into that a little bit later, especially with this Ten of Swords, but that's where some of the challenge could be. Otherwise, you actually seem to be doing things pretty on track as I'm looking at all of these cards. One last thing, Strength in reverse. If you are waking up tired, definitely talk to your doctor. It could be a matter of how much sleep you need or what kind of quality you're getting. Things like sleep apnea could be interrupting that. And then some of you may be looking to get pregnant. The Moon card and the Empress card show a little bit of challenge or difficulty initially, more so in October. It looks like September things might be easier. So if you are trying to get pregnant, I'm getting a clear point like by the end of September. That's the perfect time for conception, depending on, again, ovulation and all of that. But this month, it seems like everything is more supportive. Reducing stress is going to be important when you're going through something like that. Just generally taking care of yourself is the big takeaway here. You owe it to yourself. All right, let's move on. Let's go to wealth, resources, life purpose, career. You have a pretty good card here in the Emperor. I like that he's strategic. He's holding that chess piece and he's saying, what's the next move? What's the move after that? He's not just thinking of right here, right now. And when we're looking at wealth, I think it's really important to think, what do I want in 3 to 5 years? You don't have to worry like 20, 30, 40 years. I mean, if you've got that vision, great. But just at least getting half a decade in and saying, I want to, if you're saving up for a house or trying to have a family or trying to make a significant move, getting to the financial piece so that you can start to recognize and call in opportunities will be very important. Speaking up, really important. This card is a nice match for the Empress in reverse. So even if someone's pushing back, you can say, no, this is exactly what I'm wanting or I'm ready for. Let's do this. All right, we're going to break this down into some smaller pieces so that I can get more specific. If you're employed, gosh, September's amazing. You may be traveling a little bit for work. People are more interested in what you have to say. Your personal life could be tugging you a little bit from work, children and love interests needing a little bit more of your time, but I feel like you have the ability to juggle it pretty effectively. Taking all of that out of the picture, this is a great time to ask for something. If you're looking for a raise, if you want a project that, whatever it is you're trying to do, put it into paperwork, put it into a written form and say, I want this, I'm ready. And you have a good chance of getting it. It may not be right now. The Eight of Cups could even be them saying, all right, we'll come back 6 to 8 months from now and talk about it, but you want to make sure that you have it on the dotted line if that's the case. You're very persuasive. This is excellent communication, excellent reception, and creative and empathic communication. It's good, okay? So September, sorry for making the clapping sound. September is your power month for sure. As we look at October, things are a little bit more sporadic. So again, you're kind of contrary to a lot of the other signs that I read for. The challenge is you may be expecting to see something happen faster, but you've planted the seed and it will come through exactly when it needs to. But it may not happen until the end of October. That's okay. Be patient. Focus on some other things. Juggle a couple of things at once. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. I think one thing that you want to be mindful of in this period, struggles with maybe like two competing bosses or two competing visions. You're going to have to try to find the middle ground, as we saw with this strength card. And if you have two bosses that are giving you two different instruction sets, ask them to sort it out or highlight the contradiction. Don't agree to more than you can do. Don't do something that feels wrong. If someone's trying to force you to do something that's either legitimately the wrong choice or legally wrong, don't do it. Ask questions if someone gives you unclear or just unintelligible kind of like instructions. It happens sometimes. Maybe they're kind of speaking in jargon or something that they understand. Get that spelled out. Happy resolution, but that's the challenge here. Okay, let's move on. Pretty good for those that are employed. Entrepreneurs, leverage the energy of September. This is a great time if you want to have a seminar, do some sort of a client, not just a seminar, but maybe like a class or training session, or to kind of go one-on-one, hit the road, anything that you want to take on tour. This is a great time for all of that. Also, if you need to get some funding, this could also be fantastic, especially with the Ace of Pentacles. Get it in, like, this is not about putting it in writing so much as putting a plan together, proposing it, and then someone will receive that. As we're looking at October, it gets a little difficult to forecast the next couple of months. So we're even going further down the line. So I feel like November and December could be a little murky. So you're going to want to look at being more conservative in some areas. And then if there's a calculated risk, you can take that. But that's one thing that I'm seeing here is that the winter quarter is a little bit challenging, and I'm saying winter in the sort of northern hemisphere. Again, November, December, January could be a little tough to figure out. So give yourself more wiggle room and don't overextend. You may need some seasonal help. Eight of Cups is someone that might just be working for 2 or 3 weeks. This can also be someone that is going to be more consistent, but on a sort of like just a contract basis, like month to month, that kind of thing. Okay? I do like where you're ending over the 60 days, but you want to be smart about even beyond that. So make sure you get the clarity you need before promising too much contractually. If you're seeking work, September's definitely the stronger period. We even get an Ace of Pentacles, which portends good things. I mentioned earlier that the job, whether you're managing or looking for work, it may be seasonal. It may be shorter term. So I see a short-term job coming through. I don't know if that's going to work for you, but that's what I see here. Your communication skills are what really kind of makes it for you. People are impressed with your ability to articulate yourself, or at least with the way that you say something. If you can get a face-to-face, even better. If you need to take a trip to go somewhere for an interview, especially if it's in a different city, state, country, or province, do it. I see a very good energy. This is the month to make it happen. October's a little bit more sporadic. I do see something sort of like materializing towards the end of the month, but the challenge here in both months is just, is it full-time? Is it long-term? And what is the travel component? Because both of these are showing that there might be either a little bit of a commute or you're working with a company in a different time zone. Be open to that if you want to. October asks questions. There's more than meets the eye when it comes to the job description and when it comes to morale. So whatever this option is coming through in October, dig a little deeper, see what people have to say, former employees. I think whatever comes through in September, if you're ready for it, go for it. It looks very, very positive. Communication oriented here. This one's a little bit more creative. Those are the types of jobs popping up here. We also have a finance job here. So if you're in any of those fields, that's when I kind of see them bubbling forth. All right, students, I love what I see in September. It feels like student life is very engaging. You may meet somebody new, like I said, new friendship, new love, both. I also love that you feel sort of like planted or stable or really excited about one thing. So overall, I can't really find fault in September, other than you might get distracted with social activities or with personal things going on in your life. October is a little trickier. You may be just dealing with some seasonal depression or distraction. There may be something also that comes through where you're like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. So ask for some help if you need it there. Exercise is important. Even as a student, I don't remember this being something that was talked about as much. We get physical activity like in primary and secondary school, but not so much in college unless you're playing a sport. So making sure that you're doing something for fun, but exercise. It's like a missing piece here that can actually bring you a lot of health and happiness and some positive endorphins as well. Look at the money component. I've mentioned this before. It just seems like school gets more and more expensive, but there may be a scholarship opportunity or work, what do you call it? Work study, that's it. It's been a long time since I did that. So a work study opportunity might also come through that could help with some of the financial piece. All right, retirees. Your social calendar is lighting up as we're looking at September. I see children, I see friends, a little bit of solitude for yourself. It feels like it's all the perfect mix. You have to be the queen bee, though, to kind of keep your social calendar organized. If you're a little bit more of a hermit, you don't need to be. There's a lot of opportunities to engage with others. You can focus on a project, a pet project, but again, I think you're going to benefit by working with others. October is a little bit more challenging. Some of you may be wondering, what am I supposed to be doing next? And as a retiree, that is something that I get it, because you're used to having like project managers and other people lay it all out. You're now driving your ship in many ways. So have some fun with it. Have fun in general. Like, this is more hobby oriented. And it doesn't always have to cost. There's sometimes some things that are free at a community center, or maybe with like, if there's a place of worship, there might be something that especially retired people are doing. So network. This is a great time to network. We're going to talk more about love next. So let's get into that, because I feel like if there was ever a time to get out there, this is the month to do it. All right. In love, romance, and relationships, we're starting off with an interesting card, 10 of Swords. This is one of the most elevated versions that you're going to find. Notice how she's not laying down in a pool of blood on the ground, as a new day is breaking. She's past that. She's saying, all right, it's been difficult, but I'm ready to move on. So I actually get a rebounding energy coming forth. Are there still some scars? Sure. Maybe there's still some fears, but she's not afraid to walk towards something new, because history doesn't have to repeat itself. I kicked it off today by saying you can make or break a cycle if you want to. That was in the past, particularly of September. So choosing to break a cycle, choosing to make a new one, very much a part of this. We just went through health, but some of you may need to take care of your health. This can be a broken heart. This can be chronic pain or fatigue, especially in the back. Whatever it might be, focus on the healing first, and then choose to walk in a new direction. Also, don't take the bait. We're going to get into this, but with any relationship, friendship, or alliance, if somebody is trying to incite an argument, take a step back and say, first of all, just see if they're okay, and just say, I don't really want to argue about this. I want to help you. I want to solve this. And so find a different way, okay? Elevate the conversation. Nice segue into partnerships. What I just talked about is going to be ever so essential, because going back to the catalyst, it was all around harmony. And this was about finding literally the sort of happy medium. It does not have to be either or. It can be a little bit of both, okay? What are we seeing in existing partnerships? September is not bad. There may be a reignition of a spark that, you're more interested in spending time together. It feels like there's a sense of accomplishment happening, and maybe there's a celebration. The only challenge could be travel. Both months are kind of bookended with some travel. So being in the same place at the same time logistically could be the biggest challenge for some of you. Stubbornness. The Strength card and the Empress, both reversed, can represent two people that want it their way. And it doesn't have to be so binary. There is the middle ground that is going to be the biggest challenge. And whatever you can do to try to help you and your partner see that middle ground is going to be important. Someone may have slid something under the rug, try to get away with not saying something, but it does bubble up and come to the surface. And the Moon card is just about owning that. If you need to say I'm sorry, say I'm sorry. If you need to talk about something, put it out there so that the partner can hear it from you first. I see you, I love you, I appreciate you. This is how you can circumvent some of the Eight of Swords. The partner feels like they're in the dark. Let them in, let them know what's going on. I see receptive energy. So this is something that you may be building up to be worse than it is. You have the conversation, they're like, I knew that. I'm so glad you finally told me. So it just feels like it's talking about something that, I don't want to say it's obvious, but once it all comes out, they're not surprised, okay? Planning a trip together could be good. Talking about money is important as well. Overall, love what I see here. A little bit of stubbornness, but you can get past that. All right, if you're single and looking, can you find love? Absolutely. So many different types of energy coming forth, in fact. So lots of water here as we're looking at, well, we've got water and air, actually, to be fair. So we have a Page of Cups and we have a King of Swords. So Page of Cups is from the past. He's right by the Eight of Cups. So there might be someone that you've known for a while. It's been on and off. You either are going to take it to the next level or you're going to move on. There might be someone new coming through in the form of an air sign. I like the energy. It should feel like there's almost like this instantaneous spark. If it's too much work, it's not the right connection. And that was one of the messages, actually, as we're looking at this for like the Strength card. Don't force it. We were seeing that with this. It shouldn't feel like you have to get someone to agree to meet up. They should contact you naturally. You shouldn't be initiating all the time. Give, take, ebb, flow. I do see a desire for some of you to start a family, or there might be a partner that's immediately looking for someone, or they're attached to a child. So talk about families when you're in the sort of like initial phases of getting to know someone. So definitely September is a bright point. As we get into October, it's a little bit, I would say the beginning to middle of the month is a little bit murkier. Some of you are just dealing with some stuff, and you have to sort that out. That is the healing component. Some of you may not see what's right in front of you. There could be someone that is a little shy, a little introverted. So I see like an introverted love interest, someone that's quiet, that's trying to get your attention, or is not very effectively flirting. So if you feel like there might be a spark, see what's going on, talk to them, see if you feel the spark. That's the important piece. Honestly, in October, it does feel like the bigger energy goes towards moving on, moving up, development, sort of healing. That's the main focus here. We have specific, there could be an air sign, a water sign, or we have a Leo coming through. Like whenever this happens, it is usually because you're open or you're not thinking about it. So when there's that many types of cards, I would say, what is it you're trying to accomplish? Can you find people? Yes, but I'm not getting a clear focal point. So really focus on the attribute, or saying to yourself, I'm no longer blocked, because the belief that you're blocked actually is like reinforcing the block. So just say, if it's meant to be, it'll be. If not, I'm going to focus on some other things. That slight detachment might open the door for some of you. Okay, single and happy. Good for you. Single and happy, you can get so much done in September. You can network, meet new people, accomplish a goal, sign on the dotted line. I love September. In October, for many of you, you might be deciding to move on, move up, move out. That Fool card is about taking a step in a new direction. So this is the time to do that. And honestly, giving yourself permission to not have to surround yourself with someone or something that causes this Ten of Swords energy. For everybody, you could just also be on the heels of an argument. So one last takeaway with the Ten of Swords for all relationship statuses. Don't take the bait and don't point fingers. With the Ten of Swords, there has to be some space for healing. And when you're both ready and feeling that sense, okay, let's talk, that's when you actually can, not a moment before. Okay? Why don't we move on to the final question for today? It can be anything where you still need a little bit of information. Go ahead and ask, and I'm going to shuffle, and we'll see what Spirit has to say. Wow, what a significant card that came through. So you've got the Death and Rebirth card. It is in reverse. So as a yes or no, here's what I get. For some reason, you're still holding on or you're in disbelief. The answer is yes, but you're not completely ready yet. The healing that was part of this needs to happen. The release that's part of this also needs to happen. When it does, a door or window of opportunity is opening up. An end is also a beginning. So the loss of something or moving on from something doesn't mean that there's nothing else. It just means now you're open to something new and different. So ask yourself, if you had a chance to bring in or breathe life into something new, what that might look like. And if you could see setbacks, failures, or closed doors as permission to move on, this can also be a really good time. We can look at it at face value. Some of you just lost someone or something. Maybe there's been an end to something that you weren't ready to let go of. It could be a job like that, death and the Empress both reversed. I wasn't ready to let it go yet. But the universe saw something different. It's opening a new path for you. And because I'm using the light years and rebirth is a part of it, and death is not a scary skeleton, it is a portal where light's coming through it, which is really what transformation is all about. That's the recalibration. Things are not ending. Something new is opening up. You get to paint the canvas. It's a fresh canvas. And we did see the Fool here. So with the Fool, it's a clean slate. What are you going to paint on that clean slate? How are you going to create the picture for your future? Allow it to be something bold and something different, because everything that I saw for you is beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this. I know I did. And like I said, I'm going to be moving in October. I'll give more details as I get closer to that. So I may do one more set of 2-month readings so that I've got your back and you've got all the readings. That's why. And then we'll get back to the month ones if you want. I'll do a poll asking what people like. But the reason I did this, I've seen some comments, it's not to sort of like just change for the sake of changing. It's because I'm legitimately going to be going from one country to another, and I'm going to have to get rid of all my stuff, go in a new place, set up. So I want to make sure you've got all the readings there. It's for you, actually, okay? So thank you for your patience with respect to that. If you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and let me know what you enjoyed. This is a 2-month forecast, so you can come back. I'm going to timestamp it so you can watch what you need, when you need, as often as you'd like. In the comments, let me know what really resonates for you. You can also follow me on social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all the major platforms. And you can go to my website if you ever need additional clarification of like where to find me. Also, on the channel page here on YouTube, there are 13 links. You can see all of the official places to go from there. One way to give back is through super stickers, super chat, and memberships. And I might be doing something fun with memberships over the next month. I was thinking of doing something where we might work on a goal together. I'll talk more about it at the upcoming collective, but it's a great way to show support, and I do give some extra perks from time to time, a reading just for members. And that's everything, my friends. I just want to say from my heart to yours, wishing you all the best. Apollo's in the other room. We'll let him be. I just want to say thank you. Have a fantastic month ahead. Come back again for the month after that and let me know how all this is connecting with you. Take care, and I'll see you soon.